What if the key to unlocking humanity's earliest beliefs about the supernatural lies in the very tools our ancestors held in their hands? Thousands of years ago, deep within the shadows of prehistoric caves and sacred spaces, people crafted objects imbued with meaning, tools not just for survival, but for communing with forces beyond the visible world. These weren't ordinary instruments. They were conduits to the unknown, etched with symbols and shapes that seemed to pulse with forgotten power. From intricately carved bones to stones marked with mysterious patterns, these artifacts offer us a glimpse into a time when magic was as real as the ground beneath their feet. Today, we're diving into the enigmatic world of prehistoric magic ritual tools, unraveling their origins, their purpose, and the stories they tell about humanity's timeless fascination with the supernatural. What secrets do these ancient relics hold, and why do they still captivate us today? Let's begin this journey into the past, where every tool is a key to understanding the mysteries of our ancestors' spiritual lives. Long before written language or structured religions existed, our ancestors were already grappling with questions about the unseen forces shaping their lives. The earliest evidence of ritual tools takes us back to the Paleolithic era, a time when survival depended on sharpened stones and fire, but also on something less tangible, a growing sense of the supernatural. These tools weren't just for hunting or building. They became bridges between the physical world and the mysterious realms beyond. One of the most striking examples comes from Blombo's cave in South Africa, where archaeologists uncovered ochre stones etched with geometric patterns dating back more than 70,000 years. These aren't random scratches, they're deliberate, intricate designs that suggest a profound shift in human cognition. For the first time, people weren't just reacting to their environment, they were interpreting it, creating symbols that carried meaning and power. These ochre engravings are among the earliest known examples of symbolic expression, marking the dawn of humanity's ability to think abstractly and imagine connections to the unseen. But what drove this transformation? Why did early humans begin to infuse ordinary objects with spiritual significance? The answer lies in their struggle to make sense of a world full of uncertainties. Natural disasters, life, death, the changing seasons, these were mysteries that demanded explanation. By crafting tools that served both practical and spiritual purposes, our ancestors sought to influence the forces they couldn't control. A sharpened bone might have been used to carve meat, but it could also become a talisman, a conduit to communicate with spirits or ancestors. This blending of the practical and the spiritual reveals a key aspect of human nature, our need to find meaning in the unknown. These early ritual tools weren't just artifacts, they were expressions of hope, fear, and curiosity. They tell us that even in the harshest conditions, humans were driven by more than mere survival. They were searching for answers, creating symbols, and building the foundations of what would later become religion, art, and culture. As we explore these ancient relics, we're not just uncovering tools, we're uncovering the very roots of human imagination. Each etched stone, each carved bone, is a testament to the moment our ancestors first reached beyond the tangible world and dared to dream of something greater. As we journey deeper into the world of prehistoric magic, one figure emerges as a key player in this ancient spiritual landscape, the shaman. These enigmatic individuals were more than just healers or leaders. They were intermediaries standing at the threshold between the physical world and the unseen realms. Shamans served as bridges, connecting their communities to the spirits, ancestors, and forces that shaped their lives. And at the heart of their practices were the ritual tools that made this connection possible. Take, for example, the Siberian shaman's drum, a powerful instrument that was far more than a musical device. These drums were often crafted with meticulous care, their surfaces adorned with symbols representing the cosmos, the spirit world, and the shaman's journey between them. When struck, the drum's rhythmic beat was believed to summon spirits, alter consciousness, and guide the shaman into trance-like states where they could communicate with the supernatural. The drum wasn't just a tool, it was a vessel carrying the shaman, and by extension, the entire community into realms beyond ordinary perception. Similarly, in the caves of Europe, archaeologists have uncovered carved antler staffs, objects that likely played a central role in shamanic rituals. These staffs, often etched with animal motifs or abstract patterns, may have served as extensions of the shaman's power. Imagine a shaman holding such a staff, its carvings glowing in the flickering light of a fire, as they invoked the spirits of the hunt or sought visions of the future. These tools weren't just decorative, they were conduits believed to channel supernatural energy and amplify the shaman's abilities. But why were these tools so central to shamanic practices? For prehistoric societies, the world was alive with spirits. Every tree, river, and animal held a presence that could influence human life. Shamans were the ones who could navigate this spiritual web, interpreting signs, offering guidance, and performing rituals to maintain balance. Their tools were essential to this process, acting as both instruments and symbols of their connection to the unseen. A drum might call forth the spirits, while a staff could direct their power. These practices reveal something profound about the spiritual worldview of our ancestors. They saw the world not as separate from the supernatural, but as deeply intertwined with it. The shaman's tools were a way to tap into this interconnected reality, to heal the sick, predict the changing seasons, or ensure a successful hunt. They remind us that for prehistoric societies, magic wasn't an abstract concept, it was a lived experience woven into the fabric of daily life. And yet, these tools also tell a story about human ingenuity and creativity. The carvings, the symbols, the careful craftsmanship, they reflect a deep understanding of the materials and a desire to infuse them with meaning. Each tool was a work of art, a piece of technology, and a spiritual object all at once. They were the products of minds that could imagine the unseen and give it form, creating a bridge between the tangible and the intangible. As we examine these artifacts, we're not just learning about shamans or their tools, we're glimpsing the very roots of human spirituality. These objects remind us that the desire to connect with something greater than ourselves is as old as humanity itself. And in their intricate designs and mysterious purposes, we find echoes of our own search for meaning, a thread that connects us to the distant past. The symbols etched into prehistoric ritual tools are more than just decorative patterns. They are a language, a code that connects us to the minds of our ancestors. These intricate engravings, from spirals to animal motifs, were far from random. They were carefully chosen, imbued with meaning, and believed to hold the power to influence the unseen forces that shaped their world. To understand these symbols is to unlock a window into the spiritual beliefs of prehistoric societies, revealing how they saw themselves within the grand tapestry of existence. Take, for instance, the spiral, a recurring motif found on tools and cave walls across the globe. To modern eyes, it might seem like a simple design, but to prehistoric peoples, it carried profound significance. Some researchers suggest that spirals symbolized the cyclical nature of life, birth, death, and rebirth. Others argue they represented the movement of celestial bodies, a connection to the heavens that guided their understanding of time and the seasons. These spirals weren't just art, they were maps of the cosmos, etched into stone as a way to harness its power. Animal motifs, too, played a central role in this symbolic language. In the Lascaux caves of France, thousands of years ago, artists painted stunning depictions of bison, horses, and deer. These images weren't mere records of the animals they hunted. They were sacred symbols believed to embody the spirit of the hunt itself. By capturing these creatures on cave walls and carving them into tools, prehistoric people may have sought to invoke their strength, agility, or fertility. These symbols were a way to communicate with the animal spirits, asking for their favor or thanking them for their sacrifice. The Venus figurines, small statuettes of female forms found across Europe, offer another layer of insight. Often exaggerated in their proportions, these figurines are thought to represent fertility and the life-giving power of women. They weren't just objects of beauty, they were talismans, believed to ensure the survival of the tribe by invoking the forces of creation and abundance. Each curve, each line was a prayer carved in stone, a plea to the divine for sustenance and continuity. But what ties all these symbols together? Why did prehistoric peoples invest so much time and effort into creating these intricate designs? The answer lies in their understanding of the world as a place where the physical and spiritual were deeply intertwined. Every symbol was a bridge, a way to communicate with the forces that governed their lives. A spiral might call upon the cycles of nature, while an animal motif could summon the strength needed for a successful hunt. These symbols weren't just representations, they were tools of power designed to influence the unseen and bring balance to their world. Theories about these symbols are as varied as the engravings themselves. Some scholars argue that they were part of shamanic rituals, used to guide individuals into altered states of consciousness. Others believe they served as protective charms, warding off evil spirits or misfortune. What's clear is that these symbols were central to the spiritual lives of prehistoric peoples, a way to make sense of a world that was both beautiful and unpredictable. As we decode these ancient engravings, we're not just uncovering the meanings behind the symbols, we're piecing together the spiritual framework of a world long gone. Each spiral, each animal, each figurine is a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of our ancestors. They remind us that even in the earliest days of human history, we were driven by a need to connect, to understand, and to find meaning in the mysteries of existence. These symbols are more than just marks on stone. They are the echoes of a time when the world was alive with magic, and every tool held the potential to unlock its secrets. Among the most intriguing relics left behind by our prehistoric ancestors are the animal bones they transformed into sacred objects. These weren't mere remnants of a hunt or discarded waste. They were carefully selected, crafted, and revered as vessels of immense spiritual power. From the massive skulls of bears to the delicate talons of birds, these bones carried something far greater than their physical form. They were believed to hold the essence of the animal's spirit, a connection to the wild forces that shaped their world. In the depths of Chauvet Cave in southern France, archaeologists discovered something extraordinary: bear skulls placed on stone altars arranged with deliberate care. These weren't random placements, they were part of a ritual practice deeply tied to the beliefs of the people who lived there. Known as the bear cult, these practices suggest that bears were seen as more than just powerful animals. They were spiritual beings embodying strength, protection, and perhaps even a connection to the underworld. By placing their skulls in sacred spaces, early humans may have sought to honor these creatures, invoking their power to ensure successful hunts or safeguard their communities from danger. But it wasn't just bears that held this kind of significance. Across different cultures and time periods, animal bones were transformed into tools, talismans, and ornaments, each imbued with the spirit of the creature it came from. Bird talons, for example, were often worn as pendants or incorporated into necklaces, believed to grant the wearer the bird's keen vision or agility. The bones of wolves, revered for their cunning and pack mentality, were fashioned into tools that may have been used in rituals to invoke their hunting prowess. Even the antlers of deer, symbols of vitality and renewal, were carved and polished into staffs or headdresses, possibly used in ceremonies to ensure fertility or abundance. What made these bones so special? To prehistoric peoples, animals were more than just sources of food or materials. They were teachers, guides, and protectors. By using their bones in rituals, early humans sought to tap into the qualities that made these creatures extraordinary. A bear's strength, a bird's freedom, a wolf's instinct, these were traits that could be channeled through the bones, offering a way to bridge the gap between the human and animal worlds. The process of selecting and preparing these bones was likely as significant as the rituals themselves. Not every bone would do, only those from specific animals, perhaps those encountered in a vision or during a particularly meaningful hunt, were chosen. Once selected, the bones were often carved, polished, or painted, transforming them into objects of both beauty and power. These acts of creation were more than just craftsmanship. They were acts of devotion, a way to honor the spirit of the animal and ensure its continued presence in their lives. Archaeological finds like those in Chauvet Cave give us a glimpse into the profound relationship between early humans and the natural world. They remind us that for our ancestors, the line between the physical and the spiritual was fluid, and every part of an animal, from its bones to its spirit, held meaning. These rituals weren't just about survival. They were about connection, about finding a place within the web of life that surrounded them. As we examine these ancient bones, we're not just looking at artifacts, we're uncovering a worldview that saw the world as alive, interconnected, and full of wonder. Each bone tells a story of reverence and respect, a testament to the bond between humans and the animals they shared their world with. And in these stories, we find echoes of our own search for meaning, a reminder that the mysteries of the past still have much to teach us today. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most awe-inspiring legacies of prehistoric ritual tools: the monumental stone circles and megalithic structures that still stand as testaments to the ingenuity and spirituality of our ancestors. These aren't just piles of rocks, they are colossal tools, meticulously designed and positioned, that served as the stage for some of humanity's earliest communal rituals. From the iconic Stonehenge in England to the lesser-known but equally fascinating circles scattered across Europe, these structures offer us a window into a world where the earth and sky were deeply intertwined. Imagine standing in the center of Stonehenge, surrounded by towering stones that have weathered thousands of years. Each slab, some weighing as much as 25 tons, was transported over vast distances, shaped and erected with astonishing precision. But why go to such extraordinary lengths? For prehistoric societies, these stone circles weren't just architectural feats, they were sacred spaces, carefully aligned with the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. During solstices and equinoxes, the alignment of these stones would create dramatic visual effects, such as sunlight streaming through specific gaps or shadows casting intricate patterns. These moments were more than just celestial events. They were rituals, opportunities for communities to come together, celebrate, and connect with the rhythms of the cosmos. Theories about the purpose of these megalithic tools are as varied as the stones themselves. Some researchers suggest they served as astronomical calendars, helping early societies track the changing seasons and plan agricultural activities. Others propose they were spiritual amplifiers, designed to channel or enhance energy during rituals. One particularly intriguing theory posits that these circles acted as portals, gateways to other realms where shamans or spiritual leaders could commune with ancestors or deities. The sheer scale and precision of these structures suggest that their creators believed they were interacting with forces far beyond their understanding. But what truly sets these megalithic tools apart is the communal effort required to build them. Unlike the smaller, handheld ritual tools we've explored earlier, these structures demanded the cooperation of entire communities. Quarrying, transporting, and erecting these stones would have been a monumental task, requiring not only physical strength but also a shared vision and purpose. This collective effort hints at something profound. the belief that these tools were essential to the survival and well-being of the group. They weren't just personal artifacts, they were communal instruments designed to unite people in their spiritual practices and strengthen their connection to the divine. The craftsmanship involved in creating these structures is equally remarkable. The stones were often shaped and fitted with incredible precision, a testament to the skill and knowledge of their builders. Some stones were even polished to a smooth finish, while others were engraved with symbols or patterns that may have held spiritual significance. These details suggest that these tools were not only functional but also deeply symbolic, embodying the values and beliefs of the people who created them. As we stand among these ancient stones today, it's impossible not to feel a sense of wonder. These structures remind us of a time when the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds were fluid, when the act of building could be a form of worship, and when the cosmos was a living, breathing presence in everyday life. They challenge us to rethink our own relationship with the natural world and to consider how we, too, might seek connection and meaning in the mysteries that surround us. The enigma of stone circles and megalithic tools lies not just in their size or construction, but in the stories they tell about humanity's enduring quest to understand the universe and our place within it. Each stone, each alignment, each carefully crafted detail is a testament to the creativity, spirituality, and determination of our ancestors, a legacy that continues to inspire and mystify us to this day. Among the most captivating artifacts left behind by prehistoric cultures are the small, meticulously carved figurines that have been unearthed across the globe. These tiny sculptures, often no larger than a few inches, carry an outsized significance in our understanding of early human spirituality. Take, for instance, the Venus of Willendorf, a limestone figurine discovered in Austria and dating back nearly 25,000 years. With her exaggerated curves and intricate detailing, she stands as one of the most iconic examples of prehistoric art. But what do these figurines represent? Were they mere decorative objects, or did they serve a deeper, more mystical purpose in the lives of those who crafted them? One of the most widely accepted theories is that these figurines played a central role in fertility rituals. The Venus of Willendorf, with her pronounced hips and breasts, is often interpreted as a symbol of fertility and abundance. For prehistoric societies, survival depended on the ability to reproduce and sustain their communities. These figurines may have been used in ceremonies to invoke the favor of fertility deities, ensuring the continuation of life and the prosperity of the tribe. They weren't just art, they were tools of hope crafted to influence the forces that governed birth, growth, and renewal. But fertility wasn't the only focus. Some researchers suggest these figurines were also tied to ancestor worship. In many early cultures, ancestors were seen as powerful spiritual beings who could intervene in the lives of the living. Carved figurines may have served as physical representations of these revered individuals, allowing communities to honor and communicate with them. By creating these small, portable likenesses, prehistoric peoples could carry the presence of their ancestors with them, seeking their guidance or protection in times of need. Another intriguing possibility is that these figurines functioned as talismans for protection. In a world filled with uncertainties, natural disasters, predators, illness, early humans sought ways to shield themselves from harm. A figurine, carefully carved and perhaps imbued with ritual significance, could serve as a personal guardian, warding off evil spirits or misfortune. The act of creating and carrying such an object may have provided a sense of security, a tangible connection to the supernatural forces that could offer safety and stability. Beyond their physical form, these figurines may have also been used in sympathetic magic, a practice based on the idea that like influences like. For example, a figurine representing a pregnant woman might be used in rituals to encourage fertility, while one depicting a healthy individual could be employed to promote well-being. By manipulating these symbolic objects, early humans believed they could influence real-world outcomes, harnessing the power of the supernatural to shape their lives. The craftsmanship of these figurines is itself a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of prehistoric peoples. Despite the limited tools and materials available, they were able to carve intricate details, from the delicate lines of hair to the subtle curves of the body. Each figurine was a labor of love, a product of both skill and spiritual intent. They remind us that even in the harshest of environments, humans found ways to express their beliefs and connect with the mysteries of existence. As we study these ancient carvings, we're not just looking at artifacts, we're glimpsing the spiritual framework of a world long past. Each figurine tells a story of hope, reverence, and the enduring human desire to influence the unseen forces that shape our lives. Whether as symbols of fertility, connections to ancestors, or protective talismans, these small sculptures were far more than mere objects. They were bridges to the supernatural, crafted by hands that sought to understand and engage with the mysteries of their world. And in their enduring presence, they continue to inspire and intrigue us, offering a window into the spiritual lives of our ancestors and the timeless quest for meaning that unites us all. Sound has always been a powerful force in human culture, capable of stirring emotions, uniting communities, and even altering states of consciousness. For prehistoric peoples, sound wasn't just a form of expression, it was a tool, a means of communication with the unseen. Among the most fascinating artifacts from this era are the sound-producing tools that have survived the ages: bone flutes, rattles, and drums. These instruments weren't merely for entertainment, they were central to rituals, believed to open doorways to the spirit world and create a bridge between the physical and the supernatural. One of the most remarkable discoveries in this realm is the Divjbabe flute, found in a cave in Slovenia. Carved from the bone of a cave bear, this instrument dates back more than 40,000 years, making it one of the oldest known musical artifacts in the world. Its haunting tones, produced by carefully spaced finger holes, would have echoed through the caverns, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. But why would early humans craft such an instrument? For many researchers, the answer lies in its potential use in rituals. The flute's music may have been used to summon spirits, guide souls, or induce trance-like states in participants, allowing them to connect with the divine or receive visions. Drums, too, played a pivotal role in prehistoric rituals. Across different cultures, the rhythmic beating of drums was believed to mimic the heartbeat of the earth, creating a sense of unity and connection. Shamans often used drums to enter altered states of consciousness, where they could communicate with spirits or journey to other realms. The repetitive, hypnotic sound of the drum was thought to synchronize the minds of participants, creating a shared experience that transcended the ordinary. These instruments weren't just tools, they were conduits amplifying the shaman's power and bringing the community into harmony with the spiritual forces around them. Rattles, often made from gourds, shells, or animal bones filled with seeds or pebbles, added another layer to this auditory tapestry. Their sharp, percussive sounds were believed to ward off evil spirits or attract benevolent ones, depending on the context of the ritual. The act of shaking a rattle was more than just producing noise. It was a way of directing energy, of influencing the unseen forces that shaped their world. Each shake was a prayer, a plea, or a command, sent out into the void with the hope of receiving an answer. But what made sound so central to these rituals? For prehistoric peoples, the world was alive with voices, the rustling of leaves, the howling of wind, the calls of animals. Sound was a natural part of their environment, and by creating their own sounds, they sought to participate in this cosmic conversation. Music and rhythm were ways of tapping into the unseen, of aligning themselves with the rhythms of the universe. In the throbbing of a drum or the melody of a flute, they found a language that could speak to the spirits, a way to bridge the gap between the human and the divine. The use of sound in rituals also reveals something profound about the human mind. The repetitive rhythms and melodies of these instruments could induce trance-like states, altering perception and opening the door to spiritual experiences. This phenomenon, still observed in modern shamanic practices, suggests that early humans understood the power of sound to shape consciousness. By harnessing this power, they could transcend the limits of their physical world and explore the mysteries of the unseen. As we listen to the echoes of these ancient instruments, we're reminded of the timeless connection between sound and spirituality. These tools weren't just artifacts, they were keys to understanding a world where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were fluid. They invite us to consider how we, too, use sound, whether through music, chanting, or even silence, to connect with something greater than ourselves. In their melodies and rhythms, we find a thread that ties us to the distant past, a reminder that the search for meaning is as much about listening as it is about speaking. The use of color in prehistoric rituals wasn't just about aesthetics, it was a profound expression of belief, identity, and connection to the supernatural. Among the earliest and most enduring examples of this practice is the use of ochre, a natural pigment that ranges in hue from deep reds to vibrant yellows. This earthy substance, often found in prehistoric archaeological sites, played a central role in rituals, transforming ordinary objects and even human bodies into vessels of spiritual significance. From body painting to cave art, ochre was more than just a color, it was a tool of transformation. Imagine a prehistoric ceremony, the air thick with anticipation as a shaman dips their fingers into a bowl of red ochre, carefully marking the faces and bodies of participants. Each stroke wasn't just decorative, it was imbued with meaning, a way to invoke protection, fertility, or connection to the spirit world. These pigments were often mixed with water, animal fat, or plant resins to create a paste that could be applied to skin, clothing, or sacred objects. The act of painting was itself a ritual, a deliberate process that turned the ordinary into the extraordinary, the human into the divine. The symbolic power of ochre extended beyond the body. In the caves of Lascaux and Altamira, vast murals of animals and abstract shapes were painted using these pigments, creating scenes that seemed to come alive in the flickering light of torches. These images weren't just art, they were prayers, offerings, or perhaps even attempts to capture the essence of the animals themselves. The reds and yellows of ochre may have been chosen for their connection to blood, life, and the sun elements that were deeply tied to the cycles of nature and the mysteries of existence. But why was ochre so significant? For many prehistoric cultures, it was believed to hold protective and transformative powers. Red ochre, in particular, was often associated with blood, the life force that sustained both humans and animals. By using it in rituals, early humans may have sought to harness its symbolic strength, whether to ensure a successful hunt, protect against evil spirits, or mark the transition from one stage of life to another. In some burial sites, ochre was even used to cover the bodies of the deceased, perhaps as a way to guide their journey into the afterlife or to honor their connection to the earth. The symbolic meanings of color in prehistoric cultures were as varied as the societies that used them. While red ochre often symbolized life, energy, and vitality, other colors carried their own unique associations. Black, derived from charcoal or manganese, might have represented the unknown, the night, or the underworld, while white, made from chalk or kaolin, could symbolize purity, light, or spiritual awakening. These colors weren't chosen at random, they were carefully selected to convey specific meanings and evoke particular emotions. The process of gathering and preparing these pigments was itself a form of ritual. Ochre had to be mined, ground into powder, and mixed with other substances to create the desired consistency and hue. This labor-intensive process suggests that these pigments were highly valued, not just for their color but for their spiritual significance. Each stroke of ochre on a cave wall or a human body was the result of careful thought and intention, a testament to the creativity and devotion of our ancestors. As we explore the use of ochre and other pigments in prehistoric rituals, we're reminded of the power of color to transform, to communicate, and to connect. These ancient practices reveal a world where the physical and the spiritual were deeply intertwined, where every stroke of paint was a prayer and every color carried a story. They invite us to consider how we, too, use color to express our beliefs, our identities, and our connection to the world around us. In the vibrant hues of ochre, we find a bridge to the past, a reminder that the search for meaning is as much about seeing as it is about believing. As we explore the spiritual practices of prehistoric societies, one of the most poignant windows into their beliefs lies in the way they honored their dead. Burial rituals were not merely acts of farewell. They were profound expressions of faith, hope, and a deep-seated belief in an existence beyond the physical world. The tools and objects buried alongside the deceased, often referred to as grave goods, tell us a story of preparation, care, and the conviction that death was not an end but a transition to another realm. In the burial sites of the Natufian culture, which thrived in the Levant around 15,000 years ago, archaeologists have uncovered a wealth of grave goods that offer a glimpse into their spiritual worldview. These objects, ranging from intricately carved bone tools to ornamental jewelry, were carefully placed alongside the deceased as if to equip them for the journey ahead. It's as though these early humans believed that the afterlife required the same tools and adornments as life on Earth, a belief that underscores their understanding of death as a continuation rather than a conclusion. Among the most striking finds are the flint tools and blades buried with individuals. These weren't just practical items, they were symbols of status, skill, and identity. A hunter might be buried with a finely crafted spear point, while a shaman could be accompanied by ritual objects like carved animal bones or symbolic amulets. These grave goods suggest that the deceased were being honored not just for their roles in life, but for the contributions they were expected to make in the afterlife. In this way, burial tools became a bridge between the living and the dead, a tangible connection that affirmed the enduring presence of those who had passed. But why did these objects hold such significance? For the Natufians and other prehistoric cultures, the afterlife was likely seen as a place where the same skills, relationships, and spiritual connections would continue. By providing the deceased with tools, they were ensuring that their loved ones could thrive in this new existence. A blade might help in hunting otherworldly game, while a carved figurine could serve as a companion or a guide. These objects were more than just symbols. They were functional, practical aids for a journey that transcended the boundaries of life and death. The care with which these grave goods were selected and arranged speaks volumes about the emotional and spiritual depth of prehistoric societies. In some Natufian burials, bodies were found adorned with headdresses made of shells or beads, their faces painted with ochre. These details suggest that burial rituals were deeply personal, tailored to the individual's identity and role within the community. The use of pigments like ochre, often associated with life and vitality, hints at a belief in renewal, a hope that death was not an ending but a transformation. These practices also reveal something profound about the relationship between the living and the dead. By equipping their loved ones for the afterlife, prehistoric peoples were maintaining a connection that defied the finality of death. They were affirming that the bonds of family, community, and spirituality were eternal, transcending the limits of the physical world. In this way, burial tools were not just objects. They were expressions of love, respect, and an unshakable belief in the continuity of existence. As we uncover these ancient burial sites, we're not just studying artifacts, we're peering into the hearts and minds of people who lived thousands of years ago. Their rituals remind us that the human experience is shaped by more than just survival. It's driven by a longing for connection, meaning, and the hope that something lies beyond the horizon of this life. And in the tools they left behind, we find echoes of our own search for answers, a thread that ties us to the distant past and the timeless mysteries of existence. Fire has always been more than just a tool for survival. It is one of humanity's most enduring symbols, a force of both creation and destruction, light and shadow. For prehistoric peoples, fire was not merely a source of warmth or a means to cook food. It was a sacred element, a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Its flickering flames held the power to purify, transform, and connect, making it an essential component of ritual practices across countless cultures. From the glowing hearths of early settlements to the blazing torches carried in ceremonial processions, fire was a living, breathing presence in the spiritual lives of our ancestors. In many prehistoric societies, fire was seen as a purifying force capable of cleansing both the physical and spiritual realms. The hearth, often the center of a home, was more than just a place to prepare meals. It was a sacred space, a microcosm of the cosmos. Here, the family gathered not only to eat but to share stories, perform small rituals, and honor the spirits believed to reside within the flames. The hearth fire was a constant presence, a guardian that protected the home from malevolent forces and ensured the well-being of its inhabitants. To let the fire go out was to invite danger, both from the cold and from the unseen threats that lurked in the darkness. Beyond the hearth, fire played a central role in larger communal rituals. Torches, carried aloft in processions or used to illuminate sacred spaces, were believed to hold the power to ward off evil spirits. The light of the flames was thought to reveal what was hidden, exposing dangers and guiding the way for both the living and the dead. In some cultures, fires were lit during funerary rites, their warmth and light serving as a beacon to guide the souls of the departed to the afterlife. The act of kindling these fires was itself a ritual, often accompanied by prayers, chants, or offerings to ensure the flames burned brightly and fulfilled their purpose. Fire's transformative power also made it a key element in rites of passage and renewal. The cyclical nature of fire, its ability to consume and then rise again from the ashes, mirrored the cycles of life, death, and rebirth that were central to many prehistoric belief systems. In ceremonies marking the changing of the seasons, fires were lit to symbolize the renewal of life and the triumph of light over darkness. The flames were not just symbols, they were active participants in the ritual, their crackling and dancing believed to carry messages to the gods or to draw down their blessings. The symbolic connection between fire and life is perhaps most vividly illustrated in the use of fire in fertility rituals. In some cultures, fires were lit to encourage the growth of crops, their heat and light seen as an extension of the sun's life-giving energy. The flames were thought to awaken the earth, coaxing it to produce abundance and ensure the survival of the community. In other contexts, fire was used to mark transitions, such as the birth of a child or the initiation of a new member into the tribe. These fires were not just celebratory, they were protective, their light believed to shield the vulnerable from harm and imbue them with strength. But fire was not only a force of life, it was also deeply tied to the mysteries of death and the afterlife. In some traditions, the cremation of the dead was seen as a way to release the soul from the body, allowing it to ascend to the heavens or join the ancestors. The flames were thought to purify the soul, burning away the impurities of earthly life and preparing it for its journey into the next world. Even in burials where the body was not cremated, fires were often lit nearby, their warmth and light serving as a comforting presence for the deceased and a reminder of the enduring connection between the living and the dead. The role of fire in prehistoric rituals reveals something profound about the human relationship with the natural world. For our ancestors, fire was not just an element to be controlled. It was a partner, a guide, and a source of inspiration. Its unpredictable, ever-changing nature made it a fitting symbol for the mysteries of existence, a reminder that life is both fragile and resilient, fleeting and eternal. In its flames, they found a way to connect with the divine, to honor the cycles of nature, and to affirm their place within the larger tapestry of existence. As we reflect on the sacred role of fire in prehistoric magic, we're reminded of its enduring power to inspire and transform. Whether as a source of light, a symbol of renewal, or a bridge to the divine, fire continues to hold a special place in our collective imagination. It invites us to consider how we, too, might find meaning in the flickering flames, whether in the warmth of a hearth, the glow of a candle, or the spark of an idea. In its light, we find not just illumination, but connection, a reminder that the mysteries of the past still burn brightly within us, guiding our way forward. Obsidian, a volcanic glass so sharp it could cut through the toughest materials with surgical precision, was more than just a tool for prehistoric peoples. It was a window into the supernatural. Formed from the fiery depths of the earth, this shimmering black stone captivated the imagination of ancient cultures, who saw in its glossy surface and razor edges something otherworldly. For them, obsidian wasn't just a practical resource, it was a conduit for spiritual energy, a material imbued with the power to connect the living with the unseen forces that shaped their world. In Mesoamerica, obsidian held a particularly sacred place. The Aztecs, for instance, crafted obsidian mirrors that were believed to be portals to the spirit realm. These mirrors, polished to perfection, were used by priests and shamans for divination, a practice of seeking guidance or insight from the divine. Gazing into the reflective surface of an obsidian mirror, a shaman might enter a trance-like state, communing with ancestors, deities, or otherworldly entities. The mirror wasn't just a tool, it was a gateway, a means of peering beyond the veil of the physical world and into the mysteries of the supernatural. But obsidian's spiritual significance extended far beyond divination. Its sharpness made it a symbol of precision and clarity, qualities that were often associated with spiritual insight. In some cultures, obsidian blades were used in healing rituals, where their clean cuts were believed to remove not just physical ailments but also spiritual impurities. The act of cutting with obsidian was seen as a way to sever negative energies or invasive spirits, restoring balance and health to the individual. This belief in obsidian's purifying power reveals how deeply intertwined the physical and spiritual were in prehistoric thought. The volcanic origins of obsidian also played a role in its mystical reputation. Born from the intense heat and pressure of the Earth's core, obsidian was seen as a gift from the gods, a material that carried the raw energy of creation itself. Its glossy, dark surface was thought to hold secrets, reflecting not just the physical world but the hidden truths of the cosmos. In some traditions, obsidian was even used in rituals to harness the power of the underworld, with its dark sheen symbolizing the mysteries of life, death, and rebirth. The craftsmanship required to work with obsidian further elevated its status. Shaping this brittle material into tools or mirrors demanded incredible skill and patience, a process that was itself seen as a form of ritual. Each strike of the hammerstone, each careful flake removed, was an act of reverence, transforming raw obsidian into a sacred object. The resulting tools, whether mirrors, blades, or ceremonial knives, were not just functional, they were works of art, each one a testament to the spiritual and technical mastery of its creator. As we examine these ancient obsidian tools, we're reminded of the profound connection between the physical and the spiritual in prehistoric cultures. Obsidian wasn't just a material, it was a bridge, a way to access the divine and influence the unseen. Its sharp edges and reflective surfaces remind us that the search for meaning has always required both clarity and courage, the ability to cut through confusion and the willingness to look deeply into the unknown. In the hands of our ancestors, obsidian became more than a tool. It became a symbol of humanity's enduring quest to understand the mysteries of existence. Deep within the earth, hidden away in the darkness of ancient caves, lies one of humanity's most profound legacies, the breathtaking art of our prehistoric ancestors. Places like Altamira in Spain and Chauvet in France are more than just galleries of ancient creativity. They are sacred spaces where art and ritual intertwine to create a bridge between the physical and the supernatural. These caves weren't merely shelters, they were temples where the walls themselves became canvases for spiritual expression. The images of bison, horses, and abstract symbols that adorn these spaces were not just decorations, they were prayers, offerings, or perhaps even attempts to communicate with the forces that governed their world. Imagine stepping into Chauvet Cave, your flickering torch casting shadows on the walls as you move deeper into the cavern. Around you, the walls come alive with the outlines of animals, their forms so vivid they seem to breathe. These paintings weren't created in isolation. They were part of a larger ritual experience, a way for prehistoric peoples to connect with the spirits of the animals they hunted and revered. The act of painting itself was likely a sacred process performed under the guidance of shamans or spiritual leaders. Each stroke of pigment, each carefully etched line, was an act of devotion, a way to honor the creatures that sustained their lives and to seek their favor in future hunts. But creating these masterpieces required more than just artistic skill. It demanded specialized tools. Prehistoric artists used lamps fueled by animal fat to illuminate the dark recesses of the caves, their flickering light casting an otherworldly glow on the walls. Brushes made from animal hair or plant fibers allowed them to apply pigments with precision, while hollow bones or reeds may have been used to blow powdered pigment onto the walls, creating delicate shading and texture. Even the pigments themselves were carefully selected and prepared, with ochre, charcoal, and manganese oxide ground into powders and mixed with water or animal fat to create vibrant hues. These tools weren't just practical aids, they were extensions of the artist's intent, instruments that transformed raw materials into sacred art. The placement of these artworks within the caves is equally significant. Many of the paintings are found in the deepest, most inaccessible parts of the cave spaces that would have required considerable effort to reach. This suggests that the creation of the art was itself a ritual, a journey into the Earth's womb where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds were believed to blur. The act of entering these spaces, of painting in the flickering light of a lamp, would have been an intensely spiritual experience, one that connected the artists and participants to the mysteries of existence. Some researchers believe that the caves themselves were seen as portals to the spirit world, their dark, enclosed spaces evoking the womb of the earth or the realm of the ancestors. The art on the walls may have served as a kind of map, guiding shamans or initiates through the spiritual landscape and helping them navigate the unseen forces that shaped their lives. The recurring motifs of animals, handprints, and abstract symbols suggest a shared language of belief, one that transcended individual tribes and connected prehistoric peoples across vast distances and time periods. The role of these artworks in ritual practices is further hinted at by the presence of footprints, handprints, and other traces of human activity found in the caves. Some of these prints belong to children, suggesting that the rituals were communal events involving the entire tribe. The act of leaving a handprint on the wall, for example, may have been a way to mark one's presence in the sacred space, to connect with the spirits, or to leave a lasting record of one's participation in the ritual. These traces remind us that these caves were not just places of art, they were places of life, where the living and the spiritual worlds intersected. As we stand before these ancient masterpieces today, we're reminded of the power of art to transcend time and space. The paintings of Altamira and Chauvet are more than just images. They are windows into the spiritual lives of our ancestors, offering us a glimpse of their hopes, fears, and beliefs. They challenge us to consider how we, too, use art to express our connection to the mysteries of existence, whether through painting, music, or storytelling. In the flickering light of those ancient lamps, we find not just the origins of human creativity, but the enduring desire to make sense of the world and our place within it. These caves are more than just archaeological sites. They are testament to the timeless power of the human spirit to reach beyond the visible and touch the divine. Long before modern medicine or synthetic drugs, prehistoric peoples turned to the natural world for answers, not just to heal the body, but to awaken the spirit. Plants and herbs played a central role in their rituals, serving as bridges to the unseen and as tools to transform ordinary experiences into extraordinary ones. From the sacred smoke of burning herbs to the potent effects of psychoactive plants, these natural substances were more than just resources. They were keys to unlocking the mysteries of the spirit world. One of the most striking examples comes from the use of hallucinogenic plants, which were often at the heart of shamanic practices. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes have long used ayahuasca, a brew made from the Banisteriopsis copy vine and other plants, to induce vivid visions and spiritual journeys. These experiences were believed to allow shamans to communicate with ancestors, heal the sick, or gain insight into the future. Similar practices can be traced back thousands of years, with evidence suggesting that prehistoric peoples may have used psychoactive plants like psilocybin mushrooms or the peyote cactus to achieve altered states of consciousness. These substances weren't just consumed, they were revered, often prepared and administered with great care as part of elaborate rituals. But why did these plants hold such profound significance? For prehistoric societies, the world was alive with spirits beings that could influence every aspect of life, from the success of a hunt to the health of a community. Hallucinogens were seen as a way to open portals to this hidden realm, allowing shamans and other spiritual leaders to navigate its complexities. The visions they experienced were not dismissed as mere hallucinations. They were interpreted as messages from the divine, insights into the workings of the universe, or guidance for the tribe's future. In this way, plants became more than just tools. They were conduits carrying the user into the heart of the spiritual world. The preparation and use of these plants were often tied to specific ritual tools. For example, pipes or ceremonial vessels made from bone, clay, or stone were used to smoke or consume psychoactive substances. These tools weren't just functional, they were sacred objects, often adorned with carvings or symbols that reflected their spiritual purpose. A pipe might be etched with animal motifs, representing the spirits that would guide the user during their journey, while a vessel could be shaped to resemble a deity or a sacred animal. The act of using these tools was itself a ritual, a way to honor the plants and the spirits they connected to. Beyond hallucinogens, medicinal herbs also played a vital role in prehistoric magic. Plants like sage, mugwort, and yarrow were used not just for their physical healing properties, but for their ability to cleanse and protect the spirit. Burning these herbs as incense was believed to purify a space, driving away negative energies and inviting benevolent spirits. Similarly, herbal teas or poultices were used in healing rituals, where their effects were seen as a combination of physical and spiritual restoration. The act of gathering these herbs was often accompanied by prayers or offerings, a recognition of the plant's power and a request for its blessing. The connection between plants and ritual tools reveals something profound about the spiritual worldview of our ancestors. They saw the natural world as a source of both physical and spiritual nourishment, a place where every leaf, root, and flower held potential for transformation. By harnessing the power of plants, they sought to heal, to connect, and to understand the forces that shaped their lives. This deep respect for nature is a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and the environment, a balance that many modern societies have lost in their quest for progress. As we explore the role of plants and herbs in prehistoric magic, we're reminded of the timeless human desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Whether through the vivid visions of a hallucinogenic journey or the soothing smoke of a cleansing ritual, these natural substances offered a way to transcend the ordinary and touch the divine. They challenge us to reconsider our own relationship with the natural world and to recognize the wisdom of those who came before us. In the rustling of leaves and the fragrance of herbs, we find echoes of a time when the earth itself was a source of magic, a living, breathing presence that guided and sustained humanity on its journey through the mysteries of existence. In the world of prehistoric magic, not all tools were grand or ceremonial. Some were small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, yet powerful enough to carry the weight of an entire belief system. Amulets and talismans, often intricately crafted and imbued with spiritual significance, were among the most personal and portable ritual tools of ancient societies. These objects, worn close to the body or carried as sacred keepsakes, were believed to offer protection, luck, or even a direct connection to the supernatural. From carved animal teeth to polished stone pendants, these small artifacts reveal a deeply intimate side of prehistoric spirituality, one that speaks to the universal human desire for safety, guidance, and connection. Take, for example, the animal teeth amulets found in graves across Europe and Asia. These weren't random trinkets, they were carefully chosen symbols of power and protection. A bear's tooth, for instance, might have been worn to invoke the animal's strength and ferocity, while a wolf's fang could symbolize loyalty and cunning. These amulets weren't just decorative, they were believed to carry the essence of the animal they came from, offering the wearer a tangible link to its spirit. Imagine a prehistoric hunter wearing a wolf's tooth around their neck, feeling its weight as they ventured into the wilderness. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a shield, a reminder of the qualities they needed to survive and thrive. Stone pendants, too, played a significant role in prehistoric rituals. These small, polished stones were often carved with symbols or patterns, each one holding a specific meaning. Some pendants featured spirals, perhaps representing the cycles of life and death, while others bore animal motifs or abstract designs that are still a mystery to us today. What's fascinating is how these pendants were created. The process of shaping and polishing the stone was itself a ritual, a way of infusing the object with intention and power. Each stroke of the tool, each moment spent grinding the surface smooth, was an act of devotion, transforming a simple stone into a sacred talisman. But why were amulets and talismans so important? For prehistoric peoples, the world was full of unseen dangers, spirits, curses, or simply the unpredictability of nature. These small objects offered a sense of control, a way to influence the forces that shaped their lives. A pendant might be worn to ward off evil spirits, while an amulet carved with protective symbols could bring luck in a hunt or fertility to a family. These beliefs weren't just superstitions, they were deeply rooted in the spiritual worldview of the time, where every object, no matter how small, had the potential to connect the wearer to the divine. The personal nature of these tools also tells us something profound about the people who used them. Unlike the communal rituals of stone circles or cave paintings, amulets and talismans were deeply individual. They were crafted for specific purposes, often tied to the wearer's role in the community or their personal struggles. A shaman might carry a talisman to enhance their spiritual abilities, while a mother might wear an amulet to protect her child. These objects were more than just tools, they were extensions of the self, imbued with the hopes, fears, and dreams of their owners. As we uncover these ancient amulets and talismans, we're reminded of the universal human need for connection and protection. These small artifacts, worn close to the body and carried through life's challenges, are a testament to the creativity and resilience of our ancestors. They show us that even in the face of uncertainty, humans have always sought ways to feel grounded, to find meaning, and to believe in something greater than themselves. In their intricate designs and mysterious origins, we find echoes of our own search for security and purpose, a reminder that the past is never truly lost, but lives on in the objects we leave behind. Water, life's most essential element, was more than just a resource for prehistoric peoples. It was a sacred force, a symbol of renewal and transformation. From the bubbling springs that emerged from the earth to the vast, shimmering lakes that mirrored the sky, water held a profound place in the spiritual lives of our ancestors. It wasn't just something to drink or bathe in. It was a living entity believed to carry the power to cleanse, heal, and connect humanity to the divine. In the rituals of prehistoric societies, water became a tool, a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, a way to purify the body and awaken the soul. One of the most striking examples of water's sacred role can be found in the ritual wells of Neolithic Europe. These carefully constructed sites, often lined with stone or wood, were far more than just sources of drinking water. They were places of worship where communities gathered to honor the spirits believed to reside within the depths. Offerings ranging from carved figurines to animal bones were dropped into these wells, a way to communicate with the deities or ancestors who controlled the life-giving waters. These acts weren't just symbolic, they were deeply practical, rooted in the belief that water was a gift from the gods, one that had to be respected and appeased to ensure its continued flow. But why was water so central to these rituals? For many prehistoric cultures, water represented the cycle of life. Its ability to nourish, cleanse, and renew made it a fitting symbol for the mysteries of existence. In rituals, water was often used to purify the body and spirit, washing away impurities and preparing individuals for sacred acts. A ceremonial bath, for example, might precede a shaman's journey into the spirit world or a community's celebration of the changing seasons. The act of immersion wasn't just about physical cleanliness. It was a way to reset, to return to a state of harmony and connection with the natural world. The connection between water and the supernatural is further highlighted by the reverence given to sacred springs. These natural sources of water, often found in secluded or dramatic landscapes, were seen as portals to the divine. The bubbling, flowing nature of springs made them seem alive, as if they were speaking the language of the earth itself. In some traditions, these springs were believed to be the dwelling places of spirits or deities, their waters imbued with healing or prophetic powers. Pilgrims would travel great distances to drink from or bathe in these sacred waters, seeking not just physical healing but spiritual enlightenment. The role of water in rituals also reveals something profound about the prehistoric worldview. For our ancestors, the world was alive with interconnected forces. Every river, spring, and rainstorm was part of a larger, sacred system. Water wasn't just a passive element, it was an active participant in the spiritual life of the community. By using water in rituals, early humans sought to align themselves with these forces, to harness its power for purification, renewal, and connection. Even the act of drawing water from a well or spring could be a ritual in itself. The careful, deliberate process of collecting water was often accompanied by prayers or offerings, a way to honor the spirits and ensure the water's continued flow. These small, everyday acts of reverence remind us that for prehistoric peoples, spirituality wasn't confined to grand ceremonies. It was woven into the fabric of daily life, a constant dialogue with the forces that sustained them. As we explore the role of water in prehistoric rituals, we're reminded of its timeless power to inspire and transform. Whether as a source of life, a symbol of renewal, or a bridge to the divine, water continues to hold a special place in our collective imagination. It invites us to consider how we, too, might find meaning in the simple act of touching or drinking water, a reminder that the sacred is often hidden in the ordinary, waiting to be discovered. In the flowing streams and still depths of ancient wells, we find echoes of a time when the world was alive with magic, and every drop of water carried the promise of connection and renewal. The desire to glimpse the future or seek guidance from the unseen has been a constant thread throughout human history. Long before modern divination methods like tarot cards or crystal balls, prehistoric peoples turned to the natural world for answers, using simple yet powerful tools to unlock the mysteries of fate. Bones, stones, shells, and other everyday objects became instruments of divination, believed to hold the power to reveal hidden truths or bridge the gap between the living and the spirit world. These tools weren't just random items, they were carefully chosen and imbued with meaning, transforming the mundane into the magical. One of the most fascinating examples comes from ancient China, where oracle bones played a crucial role in divination practices. These bones, often the shoulder blades of oxen or the shells of turtles, were inscribed with questions addressed to the gods or ancestors. A diviner would then apply heat to the bone, causing it to crack, and interpret the patterns of the fractures as messages from the divine. These inscriptions, some of the earliest known forms of Chinese writing, reveal a society deeply invested in understanding the will of the gods and the forces that shaped their lives. The cracks in the bones weren't just random lines, they were a language, a way for the spiritual world to communicate with the living. But why did these objects hold such significance? For prehistoric and ancient cultures, the natural world was alive with meaning. A bone, once part of a living creature, carried the essence of that animal's spirit, while a shell, shaped by the rhythms of the ocean, was seen as a connection to the forces of nature. By using these objects in divination, early humans believed they could tap into the wisdom of the universe, interpreting the patterns and signs as guidance for their actions. It was a way of making the unknown knowable, of finding order in the chaos of existence. The use of divination tools wasn't limited to oracle bones. In many cultures, stones or pebbles were cast like dice, their positions and orientations interpreted as answers to pressing questions. The shapes, colors, or patterns of the stones were believed to carry specific meanings, offering insights into everything from the outcome of a hunt to the health of a community. Similarly, shells, with their intricate designs and natural symmetry, were often used in divination rituals. The way they fell or the sounds they made when shaken were seen as messages from the spirit world, guiding decisions and shaping the course of events. What's striking about these practices is the creativity and ingenuity they reveal. Divination wasn't just a matter of superstition. It was a sophisticated system of communication, rooted in observation, intuition, and a deep respect for the natural world. Each tool, whether a bone, stone, or shell, was part of a larger spiritual framework, a way of understanding the interconnectedness of all things. The diviner, often a shaman or spiritual leader, acted as an interpreter, translating the language of the spirits into guidance for the living. The role of these tools in prehistoric magic also highlights the universal human need for certainty in an uncertain world. Life in ancient times was fraught with challenges. Disease, famine, conflict, and divination offered a way to navigate these uncertainties. By seeking answers from the spiritual realm, early humans found a sense of control, a belief that they could influence their fate or at least prepare for what lay ahead. This blend of practicality and spirituality is a testament to the resilience and creativity of our ancestors, who used whatever tools were at hand to make sense of their world. As we explore these ancient divination practices, we're reminded of the timeless human desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Whether through the cracks in an oracle bone or the fall of a stone, these tools were more than just instruments, they were bridges to the divine, offering a glimpse into the mysteries of existence. They challenge us to consider how we, too, seek meaning and guidance in the world around us, and to recognize the ingenuity of those who came before us. In the patterns of bones and the shapes of shells, we find echoes of a time when the universe was alive with possibility, and every object held the potential to reveal its secrets. Masks, more than just coverings for the face, were powerful ritual tools in prehistoric societies, serving as bridges between the human and spirit worlds. When worn, these masks transformed the wearer into something far greater than themselves, allowing them to embody spirits, ancestors, or even deities during sacred ceremonies. Imagine a shaman donning a mask carved to resemble a bear or a bird, their identity dissolving as they became a vessel for the animal's essence. This wasn't mere performance, it was a profound act of spiritual connection, a way to channel the unseen forces that shaped their world. The craftsmanship behind these masks reveals the depth of their significance. Made from materials like wood, animal hides, and even bone, each mask was meticulously carved, painted, and adorned with symbols that held specific meanings. In the caves of Europe, archaeologists have uncovered masks shaped like animals, bears, wolves, and birds, each one a testament to the skill and reverence of their creators. These masks weren't just accessories, they were sacred objects infused with the power to transform the wearer and connect them to the spirit of the animal they represented. The process of creating a mask was itself a ritual, a way of honoring the spirit it was meant to embody. But why were masks so central to these rituals? For prehistoric peoples, the world was alive with spirits, beings that could influence every aspect of life, from the success of a hunt to the health of the community. By wearing a mask, the shaman or ritual participant could step into the role of these spirits, becoming a mediator between the human and supernatural realms. A mask shaped like a bear might be worn to invoke the animal's strength and ferocity, while a bird mask could symbolize freedom and the ability to traverse the heavens. These transformations weren't just symbolic, they were believed to be real, a way of bringing the spirit into the physical world. The role of masks in shamanic practices is particularly fascinating. Shamans, as spiritual leaders, often wore masks during ceremonies to enter trance-like states, where they could communicate with ancestors or divine beings. The mask acted as a kind of spiritual amplifier, intensifying the shaman's connection to the unseen. In some traditions, the mask was thought to protect the wearer from malevolent spirits, its fierce visage warding off danger. The act of wearing the mask was a journey, a way of stepping outside the self and into the realm of the divine. The symbolism of these masks also reflects the deep connection between prehistoric peoples and the natural world. Animals, in particular, were seen as powerful spiritual beings, their qualities admired and emulated. A wolf mask might represent loyalty and cunning, while a bird mask could symbolize the ability to soar above earthly concerns. These masks weren't just tools for communication, they were expressions of respect and reverence for the creatures that shared their world. By embodying these animals, early humans sought to harness their power and wisdom, ensuring the survival and prosperity of their communities. As we uncover these ancient masks, we're reminded of the creativity and ingenuity of our ancestors. Each mask tells a story of transformation, of the desire to connect with something greater than oneself. They challenge us to consider how we, too, use symbols and rituals to navigate the mysteries of existence. In the carved faces and painted designs of prehistoric masks, we find echoes of a time when the boundaries between the human and the divine were fluid, and every ritual was an opportunity to touch the sacred. These masks are more than just artifacts. They are windows into a world where the spiritual was as real as the physical, and every mask was a key to unlocking its mysteries. The rituals of prehistoric societies weren't always about renewal, connection, or healing. Some delved into the darker realms of human belief, where life itself was offered as a sacred exchange. Ritual killings and sacrifices, though unsettling to modern sensibilities, were deeply rooted in the spiritual worldview of ancient cultures. These practices, often involving carefully crafted tools, were seen as necessary acts to maintain balance, appease deities, or secure the prosperity of the community. While the idea of sacrifice may seem extreme today, for our ancestors, it was a profound expression of their relationship with the supernatural, a way to give back to the forces that sustain them. One of the most haunting examples of these practices comes from the bog bodies of northern Europe. Preserved for thousands of years in the oxygen-poor environment of peat bogs, these individuals offer a chilling glimpse into the rituals of the past. Many of these bodies show signs of violent death, strangulation, blows to the head, or even throat slitting, and are often accompanied by tools or objects that hint at their sacrificial purpose. A flint knife, for instance, might be found near the body, its blade still sharp, while cords or ropes suggest the method of execution. These tools weren't just instruments of death, they were sacred implements used in rituals that were as much about spiritual necessity as they were about physical acts. But why did these societies turn to such extreme measures? For many prehistoric cultures, the world was governed by a delicate balance, a fragile harmony between the human, natural, and spiritual realms. When this balance was disrupted by famine, disease, or conflict, sacrifices were seen as a way to restore order. Offering a life, whether human or animal, was believed to appease the gods or spirits, ensuring their favor and the continued survival of the community. These acts weren't taken lightly. They were solemn, deeply spiritual events, often carried out by shamans or spiritual leaders who understood the weight of their actions. The tools used in these rituals were more than just functional. They were imbued with symbolic meaning. A ceremonial dagger, for example, might be adorned with carvings or symbols representing the divine, transforming it from a mere weapon into a sacred object. The act of using such a tool in a ritual was itself a form of communication, a way to honor the spirits and convey the gravity of the offering. Even the materials used to craft these tools held significance. Flint, with its sharp, precise edges, was often chosen for its ability to make clean cuts, symbolizing the purity of the act. Meanwhile, ropes or cords used to bind or strangle might represent the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds, tying the sacrifice to the divine. The bog bodies also reveal something profound about the individuals chosen for these rituals. In many cases, the victims were young, healthy, and sometimes even of high status within their communities. This suggests that the sacrifices weren't random or arbitrary, but carefully selected to maximize their spiritual impact. A strong, healthy individual, for example, might be seen as a more potent offering, their vitality symbolizing the life force being returned to the gods. Similarly, the inclusion of personal items, jewelry, clothing, or tools with the bodies hints at the belief that these individuals would continue their roles in the afterlife, serving as emissaries or protectors for their communities. The role of these practices in prehistoric societies challenges us to reconsider our understanding of violence and spirituality. While the idea of ritual killings may seem barbaric by today's standards, for our ancestors, they were acts of profound significance, rooted in a worldview that saw life and death as part of a larger, interconnected cycle. These sacrifices weren't just about fear or desperation. They were about hope, about the belief that through these acts, the community could survive and thrive in a world full of uncertainties. As we uncover the tools and remains left behind by these rituals, we're reminded of the complexity of human belief. Each knife, each cord, each body tells a story of a time when the line between life and death was fluid, and every act had the potential to shape the spiritual and physical worlds. These artifacts invite us to explore the darker corners of our past, not to judge, but to understand the lengths to which our ancestors went to make sense of their world. In their sacrifices, we find echoes of a time when the sacred and the profane were deeply intertwined, and every act, no matter how extreme, was a step toward balance and connection. The night sky has always been humanity's greatest canvas, a vast expanse filled with stars, planets, and celestial events that have inspired awe and wonder for millennia. For prehistoric peoples, the heavens weren't just a source of beauty. They were a map, a clock, and a spiritual guide. Astronomy played a central role in their rituals, with celestial events like solstices, equinoxes, and eclipses marking the rhythm of their lives and shaping their spiritual practices. But how did they track these cosmic cycles? The answer lies in the ritual tools they crafted, objects that bridged the gap between the Earth and the stars, allowing them to align their lives with the movements of the cosmos. One of the most remarkable examples of this connection is the Nebra sky disk, a bronze artifact discovered in Germany and dating back over 3,600 years. This stunning object, adorned with gold symbols representing the sun, moon, and stars, is one of the oldest known depictions of the night sky. But it wasn't just a piece of art, it was a sophisticated astronomical tool. Researchers believe the disk was used to track celestial events such as the solstices, which marked the changing seasons and guided agricultural activities. The placement of the symbols on the disk suggests a deep understanding of the sky's patterns, a way of mapping the heavens to bring order to the chaos of earthly life. The Nebra sky disk is more than just a tool. It's a testament to the ingenuity and spiritual insight of its creators. By aligning their rituals with the movements of the stars, prehistoric peoples sought to harness the power of the cosmos to ensure the fertility of their crops, the success of their hunts, and the well-being of their communities. The solstices, in particular, held immense significance. During these times, when the sun reached its highest or lowest point in the sky, communities would gather to celebrate, using tools like the Nebra sky disk to mark the occasion. These rituals weren't just about the physical world, they were about connecting with the divine, honoring the forces that governed life and death. But the Nebra sky disk isn't the only example of prehistoric astronomy. Across the globe, ancient societies built structures aligned with celestial events, turning stone and earth into tools for tracking the stars. Stonehenge, with its massive stones arranged to mark the solstices, is perhaps the most famous of these. On the summer solstice, the sun rises directly over the heel stone, casting a beam of light into the heart of the circle. This alignment wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate act of engineering and spirituality, a way to connect the physical world with the cosmic. The stones themselves were more than just markers. They were conduits channeling the energy of the heavens into the rituals performed within their shadow. The role of astronomy in prehistoric rituals reveals something profound about the human relationship with the cosmos. For our ancestors, the sky wasn't a distant, unknowable void. It was a living, breathing presence, a source of guidance and inspiration. By tracking the stars, they sought to understand the patterns of their lives, to find meaning in the cycles of birth, death, and renewal. The tools they used, from the Nebra sky disk to the stones of Stonehenge, were more than just instruments. They were bridges to the divine, ways of aligning themselves with the rhythms of the universe. As we gaze at these ancient artifacts and structures, we're reminded of the timeless human desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. The stars that guided our ancestors still shine above us, offering the same sense of wonder and possibility. In the Nebra sky disk and the solstice alignments of Stonehenge, we find echoes of a time when the heavens were a source of both mystery and meaning. a reminder that the search for understanding is as old as humanity itself. These tools invite us to look up, to see the night sky not just as a scientific curiosity, but as a mirror reflecting the deepest questions of our existence. In their light, we find a connection to the past and perhaps a glimpse of the eternal. The echoes of prehistoric magic are far from silent. They reverberate through the rituals, beliefs, and practices of modern culture, connecting us to the spiritual world of our ancestors in ways we might not even realize. While the tools and techniques have evolved, the essence of these ancient practices, their reverence for the natural world, their search for meaning, and their desire to connect with the divine remains alive and well today. From the resurgence of shamanic traditions to the modern fascination with crystals and runes, the legacy of prehistoric magic continues to shape how we understand and interact with the unseen forces around us. One of the most striking examples of this continuity is the revival of runes, the ancient symbols once carved into stones and bones by Germanic tribes. These cryptic markings, believed to hold magical properties, were used for divination, protection, and communication with the gods. Today, runes have found new life in contemporary spiritual practices where they are cast, read, and interpreted much like tarot cards. Modern practitioners see them not just as historical artifacts, but as living tools, capable of offering guidance and insight in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. The runes remind us that the search for answers is timeless, a thread that connects us to the spiritual seekers of the past. Crystal healing is another practice with deep roots in prehistoric magic. Long before the polished stones became a staple of New Age shops, ancient peoples revered crystals for their beauty and perceived power. Obsidian, for instance, was believed to sharpen both the mind and the spirit, while quartz was seen as a conduit for energy, amplifying intentions and connecting the wearer to the cosmos. Today, these beliefs have been reinterpreted, with crystals used in meditation, energy work, and even modern medicine as tools for balance and healing. Whether or not we believe in their metaphysical properties, the enduring allure of crystals speaks to a universal human desire to find harmony and meaning in the natural world. Shamanic practices, too, have experienced a resurgence, particularly in the Western world. Modern shamans, often drawing on traditions from indigenous cultures, use tools like drums, rattles, and herbs to induce trance states, heal the spirit, and connect with the unseen. While these practices have been adapted to fit contemporary contexts, their core principles honoring the earth, seeking guidance from the spirit world, and fostering community remain deeply rooted in the prehistoric past. The drumbeat that once echoed through ancient caves now resonates in urban meditation spaces, a testament to the timeless power of sound and ritual. Even the way we approach art and symbolism today can be traced back to our prehistoric ancestors. The abstract patterns etched into ochre stones or painted on cave walls were more than just decorations. They were expressions of belief, attempts to capture the essence of the divine. In modern times, these same impulses drive everything from tattoo art to sacred geometry, where symbols and designs are used to convey deeper meanings and connect with spiritual truths. The spiral, a motif found in prehistoric art, still appears in contemporary designs, a reminder of the cyclical nature of existence and the enduring human fascination with the mysteries of life. The tools of prehistoric magic have also found their way into popular culture, from movies and books to fashion and design. The image of the shaman, cloaked in animal skins and wielding a staff, has become a powerful archetype in storytelling, representing wisdom, transformation, and the bridge between worlds. Similarly, the use of amulets and talismans, once worn for protection or luck, has been reimagined in modern jewelry, where symbols like the Tree of Life or the Eye of Horus carry personal and spiritual significance. What's perhaps most fascinating about this modern reinterpretation of prehistoric magic is how it reflects our ongoing search for connection to each other, to the natural world, and to something greater than ourselves. In a world increasingly dominated by technology and speed, the ancient practices of slowing down, listening to the earth, and honoring the unseen offer a counterbalance, a way to find grounding and meaning. Whether through the casting of runes, the wearing of a crystal, or the beat of a drum, we are participating in a tradition that stretches back tens of thousands of years, a testament to the enduring power of human creativity and spirituality. As we explore these modern echoes of prehistoric magic, we're reminded that the past is never truly lost. It lives on in the symbols we create, the rituals we practice, and the stories we tell. These ancient tools and beliefs challenge us to look beyond the surface, to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, a place where the sacred and the everyday are intertwined, and where every act, no matter how small, has the potential to connect us to the mysteries of existence. In their enduring presence, we find not just a link to our ancestors, but a mirror reflecting our own timeless quest for meaning and connection. Despite the incredible discoveries we've made about prehistoric magic tools, there's still so much we don't know. These ancient artifacts, while rich with symbolism and craftsmanship, often leave us with more questions than answers. What was the true purpose of some of these tools? Were they used in ways we haven't yet imagined? And perhaps most intriguingly, what did their creators truly believe about the world and their place within it? The gaps in our understanding are vast, and they remind us that the past is a puzzle with many missing pieces. Take, for example, the enigmatic Venus figurines found across Europe. While many theories suggest they were symbols of fertility or representations of goddesses, their exact purpose remains a mystery. Were they personal talismans, ritual objects, or something entirely different? The absence of written records from these ancient cultures means we can only speculate, piecing together clues from the artifacts themselves and the context in which they were found. Each new discovery offers a potential answer, but it also raises new questions, keeping the conversation alive and evolving. Another mystery lies in the precise nature of the rituals these tools were used for. We can interpret the carvings, paintings, and symbols, but the full experience of these ceremonies, the sights, sounds, and emotions is lost to time. What did it feel like to stand in the flickering light of a cave, surrounded by painted animals and chanting voices? How did the rhythmic beat of a shaman's drum or the haunting melody of a bone flute alter the consciousness of those who listened? These are questions that archaeology can't fully answer, leaving us to imagine the intangible aspects of these ancient practices. The challenge of interpreting these tools is compounded by the fact that many of them were deeply personal. Amulets, talismans, and other small artifacts were likely tied to individual beliefs, experiences, and needs. Without knowing the stories of the people who used them, it's difficult to fully grasp their significance. A carved animal tooth might have been a protective charm for one person and a symbol of status for another. This individuality makes it nearly impossible to generalize, adding layers of complexity to our understanding. Ongoing research continues to shed light on these mysteries, but progress is slow and often incremental. Advances in technology, such as 3D scanning and chemical analysis, allow us to study these artifacts in greater detail than ever before. For instance, residue analysis can reveal what substances were used in rituals, while isotopic studies can trace the origins of materials used to create these tools. Each new technique brings us closer to understanding the lives of our ancestors, but it also underscores how much we still have to learn. Perhaps the greatest unanswered question is how these tools fit into the broader spiritual worldview of prehistoric peoples. What did they believe about the afterlife, the gods, or the forces of nature? How did their rituals shape their understanding of life, death, and the universe? These are questions that go beyond the physical artifacts, touching on the very essence of what it means to be human. They remind us that while we can study the tools, the beliefs they were tied to may remain elusive, a testament to the depth and complexity of the human spirit. As we continue to explore these ancient mysteries, we're reminded that the past is never truly fixed. It's a living, breathing narrative that changes with each new discovery and interpretation. The unanswered questions about prehistoric magic tools aren't just gaps in our knowledge, they're invitations to keep searching, to keep imagining, and to keep connecting with the people who came before us. In their mysteries, we find not just curiosity, but a profound respect for the ingenuity and spirituality of our ancestors, and a reminder that the search for understanding is a journey without end. As we reach the end of this journey through the enigmatic world of prehistoric magic ritual tools, one truth stands out with striking clarity. These ancient artifacts are far more than remnants of a bygone era. They are profound expressions of humanity's unyielding desire to make sense of the world and connect with something greater than ourselves. Each carved bone, each sacred stone, and every intricate symbol etched into ochre whispers a story of hope, fear, and the universal longing to bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen. These tools are not just relics, they are mirrors reflecting the timeless essence of what it means to be human. From the earliest ochre engravings in Blombo's cave to the towering stones of Stonehenge, we've seen how our ancestors wove magic into the fabric of their daily lives. They transformed ordinary objects, bones, stones, fire, and water into extraordinary instruments of spiritual power. These tools were more than practical aids. They were conduits to the divine, ways of navigating the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos. Through them, we glimpse a world where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were fluid, where every act, from painting a cave wall to crafting a talisman, was imbued with meaning. What makes these discoveries so compelling is not just the ingenuity of their creation, but the universality of their purpose. Across time and cultures, humans have sought to influence the forces that shape their lives, whether through rituals, symbols, or sacred objects. The shaman's drum, the diviner's bones, the artist's pigments, all speak to a shared human experience, a collective yearning to find order in chaos and connection in the unknown. These tools remind us that the search for meaning is as old as humanity itself, a thread that binds us to our ancestors and to each other. As we continue to uncover the secrets of these ancient artifacts, we're not just piecing together the past, we're rediscovering something essential about ourselves. The stories they tell of courage, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of understanding are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. They challenge us to look beyond the surface, to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, a place where the sacred and the everyday coexist, and where the mysteries of existence are still waiting to be explored. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of prehistoric magic. If you've enjoyed uncovering these ancient mysteries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown. Together, let's keep unraveling the threads of history, one artifact at a time. Until next time, stay curious, and may the mysteries of the past continue to inspire your own journey forward.